Hello, welcome to another episode of Coding a Game with Java, and welcome to Code with Eddie. If you are just joining me, please don't forget to subscribe. And today we are going to be creating a game window. So before we created a window, let me run it. We created something like this with the start button. When I click the button, it runs, shows that hello, I was clicked. And today we are going to be creating a game window, and our game window will be located at this position of our application, and we're gonna push the button below, so we'll create a game window. So the first thing to do to create the game window is to create the game class. So we just organize this project in the package com.game, so I can move. Okay, now creating the game class. The game class is gonna extend canvas. Canvas is like a drawing board. It's an interface where you can paste component which you want to draw or you want to paint. So you will understand when we start using it. So canvas. Let's just import the serialize to take away the warning. And good. So we've created the game class. The next thing is to create the height and the width. The width of the application. Just paste it here. Now the height, the width is the same as the width of the window. So we have the width of this frame will be the same like the window, and the height will be less than 100. So we keep this space where we can add our button. So we subtract 100 from the height so that the button will just naturally flow on that. Now the next thing is to create the constructor. Create the constructor. In the constructor we set the size. So we now call set preferred size, which will be a dimension, because we create it from the dimension class. So it's a new I'm sure it takes the width and the height. Yes, we put width and height. Good. So we can now pass in the game.width, the width of the application, game, and the height. So that's the width and the height of the application. The noise, spell height. Good. I think that's all for the window. Now let's add the game to a window. So we added the button, so add the game object before the button. So we'll give it a name game. So let's just create it somewhere here. Private game goes to new game, and somewhere here. Yep, so I've added the game. Now we want that when you click the start button, you should be able to run the game. So this application, I don't know why it's taking time to load. When you click the start button, see it has taken the window, the game canvas has taken this position, and the start button is below. When you click this button, we want to be able to run the application. Now my mouse is behaving funny. Okay. To do that, we have to add to this code a method to start the game. But before then, we want to be able to implement runnable. We want to be able to run this in a thread. You have to add the unimplemented method. So this method, this will be the method to call when we want to run the application. So let's add this variable called running equals to false and y. Oh, boolean. Now we are going to be using this one in this variable running in a couple of lecture, in the next lecture, but let me just keep it there hanging. Now we need to write a method to start the game, so we call it public void start game, and this method just simply set the running equals to true and it create a new thread. Set running to true, give some space, put in the middle. My mouse is behaving funny, so I'm using the keyboard. So new thread, so we are creating a new thread, and since as this is a runnable interface, we can give it this in the thread name, and we can give it a thread name to display window. We can now create a variable, a fee. So if we go to the top, it will have created this game fee for us. Now we have successfully created the start method, and we have successfully created the run interface. So when we run this start method, is gonna call run. We need to add one more thing. Dot start. So when the runnable interface, when this method is called, the game start game method is called, it's gonna put the run to true, create a thread, and run start. Immediately start runs, it's gonna call this run. So whatever we put here, for example, if we push this out, we can put running, and we are gonna be seeing running display. Immediately we click start, it's gonna call run, and that's how it is done. So let's see what happened. So we click start, see hello hours click. Oh, sorry, we need to call the start method in the Windows object. So instead of printing hello hours click, we can just say game.start. Okay. Okay, so if I click this, show running. Let's click it again. One. So those are new threads. Each time I click, start a thread. So that's the application, looking good. Now let's try to draw the interface and make it a black background, and then we can end this video. So in what we are about to do now, we are about to draw the interface of the game window. So we want to draw a black screen such that we can able to put our components in. So for example, we want to be able to draw this area and we want to paint it black such that we're able to put the game entities inside. And that's what we are calling the game window. My mouse is behaving funny. So keep highlighting stuff. Okay. We'll do the drawing in a method called render. So it should be a private render. We'll create a buffer strategy. Column bs equals to this dot get buffer strategy. So the canvas class has a method called buffer strategy, which allow you to create graphics in the buffer and then later render these graphics to the window. So we create a buffer strategy. We check if our buffer is equal to null for one or any reason. We will now create, if we get the buffer strategy and it is empty, we now create it. So the first time we run, it's gonna create this buffer strategy, and after creating the buffer strategy, it should exit. So that the next time we are rendering, there will be buffer strategy, and then it goes just gonna write it in a graphic object called G. So buffer strategy dot I think it's get graphic, get draw graphic. Good. I'm missing an S. Good. Can import it from portfolio. So put a void. So let me explain the buffer strategy. Now, a buffer strategy, before an image is rendered on the game window, we have to draw this image. Drawing this image means we have to go through pixel by pixel and drawing the image to the end. And to do this, we need to have a buffer where we do all this drawing, and when the drawing is ready, we render this buffer to the game window. So we use buffer strategy 3 when we are creating the buffer strategy, such that we can create 2 buffer to do the rendering and the drawing, and at the end, when the drawing is complete, the completed image will be pushed to the buffer to be displayed. So there are 1, 2, 3. So 3 buffers is just for optimization purposes. That's why we create 3 buffers in the buffer strategy. That's the reason for the 3 here. means we want to use 3 buffers to render this image which we are drawing. So we've drawn the image is G. Let's give a color to that image. Set color, so just give it black. So this will be the complete window of the game object. And G dot fill rectangle from position 0, 0. You will fill the complete width of the game. So the width dot width, the width of the game, and you fill the complete height. So the height of the game. So the next thing is to dispose this graphic object. After disposing, to able to release some resources used in the drawing, and we now show the buffer strategy to the window. So if we call in our run method, if we remove this statement, the warning, and instead render this buffer strategy, let's see what happened. Go run. Oh, save, run. So now when we click, see, it calls the buffer strategy, create a buffer, write this image to the buffer, and then render it to the interface, which is what we are seeing here, the black interface that we set. So this is where all our object will be moving in the game. When we click start, our object will start moving and we start building the logic of the game. So far I think that's it for this lecture. In the next lecture we are going to be talking about the game loop, which is very important aspect of a game. This is very interesting. So if you have not liked my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and like and share. Leave a comment if there's something you have not understood, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.